Good evening, everyone, on this rainy day. I know you probably recognize that tune. It's so amazing. And that's a smooth sound of Garrett Body, affectionately known as G Body, a friend of intellectual radio. Voices have changed with his newly released single, So Amazing. My name is Jan, and you are listening to Intellectual Radio, Voices of Change, with special guest Khalid Scott discussing, of course, this is Relationship Sunday, discussing relationships. Before I get started, we want to start right into our discussion. But before I get started, I always start off with a scripture. In the meantime, in between time, if you're listening in, tell a friend, pick up the phone, call someone, and say, tune in. Looks like on my end, there may be a delay. I hope it's not weather related, and I hope it doesn't continue. But I always start off with the scripture for today. It's going to be from Luke 6:31. Simply says, do to others as you would have them do to you. Do to others as you would have others do to you. Live viewers comment show up on StreamYard. This is an example. Okay, thank you so much, StreamYard, for giving me that little hint. Appreciate that. Now we're going to start right with our guest. Our guest is here now. He has a bio that's probably too long to read. So when he comes on, I'm going to have him do his own introduction and kind of self-promote and brag on himself. So help me welcome Khalid Scott, LCSW, licensed social worker, on stage. Good afternoon, Khalid.
What's going on, Sweet Pea? How you doing?
Not much. How are you?
I'm doing real good, real good.
Wonderful. Good. Glad to hear that. Glad to hear that. Let me know when you want me to share the screen and put it on about. Actually, I found two things. I found something that the guy, of course, said as far as, him going on a serious date. But I also found something interesting. And I don't know who these young women were, but they had a list of places where they didn't want to go on their first date. You'd be surprised at the things. I was shocked at what they did.
Cheesecake Factory on it or something?
Yes. What's wrong? What's wrong with the Cheesecake Factory? Oh man, this stuff is really generational.
Absolutely, okay. Absolutely. You know what? You could put his list up now, and we can start off by doing that.
Okay, that'll work. Let's see. Let me work my magic, since I'm just so tech savvy of recent. Okay.
All right. Okay. So let's go ahead and get started, if I may, ma'am. Okay.
Go ahead, sir.
All right. So a couple of weeks ago, I'm in multiple relationship-oriented groups on Facebook, right? Because I want to always keep my eyes, ears, and mind to see where people's heads are at, right?
Yes.
So I like, entering to different groups. Some of the groups are really ratchet, and some are like Christian based. But again, you want an eclectic view of how people are thinking about relationships, right? Mm-hmm. And since I pride myself on being somewhat of a guru, about love, relationships, I always want to stay on top of things. Well, I started to see this listing, and I was like, wow. And when I read over all 21 pieces, what stuck in mind was, this sounded like a young man back in the 90s, right? Because everything on this 21 item list is what I did on first date, second date, third dates, when I was really, truly interested in the young lady, right? So let's go ahead and look at it. And for those of you who haven't seen this list, which that means you haven't been on social media for the last couple of weeks, here it goes. The first one is, be there early so you don't leave her waiting. Already you starting off with chivalry, right?
Yes.
Okay. Grab her some flowers and a card letting her know that you appreciate her time, right? And again, I remember going to Jewel's or this floral store that was in Hyde Park and picking up a long stem rose. You know what I'm saying? Because I always wanted to I wanted to set myself apart from any of the other guys, And see, I went after very attractive women. and women who had degrees or working on their degrees, right? So I was like, you know what? There's a bunch of me out here, and I just really want to set myself apart. Open the door for her automatically, right? Compliment her. Wow, you look good. And I mean, be enthusiastic. So, because at least I know back in the 90s, think about when you went on dates. I know for us dudes, we'll get up on a Saturday morning, go and get our hair cut, go to the car wash, go to the cleaners because you put your jeans in there. Back in the day, we wore our jeans with creases in them, right?
Yes.
So you could do it, but it ain't gonna look as good as if our cleaners put the crease in it, right? Go and get your shoes shined, you know, and then make the reservations for wherever you were going to go to, and really make a afternoon or a day of getting yourself prepared for this date,
You know,
right?
and women did the same thing, as you
Yeah,
probably know. We did the same thing. We got up early, got our mani, got our pedi, got our hair done. May had to do something different with the makeup. Had to have that right thing to wear, not too much, not too little, just right. But you know what? We have to keep in mind this is for people who date it with intention. This is for people who, you know what I mean? Not just someone doing what some people do. So
right.
you're right.
Absolutely, Janice. Absolutely. All right. So settle her in with a hug, right? And that was one of the things that people were debating about, the physical touch, you know what I'm saying? And I even think back in the 90s, you knew your cues if you could go in for a hug, and you got to remember too, more than likely you talked to this person for hours on the phone before the first date, right? Because remember, we didn't have internet, right? So we were on our phones like that,
Yeah.
phone, right? Spent about an hour or two talking to this person, right? So you felt comfortable enough, like, hey, what's going on, Cynthia? How you doing? And a friendly hug, even if
Right.
it had to be a church hug, you know. Let's see, smell good, and she'll be thinking about you even when she gets home.
And that's true.
Listen, I think me and every guy I know, we was wearing the Michael Jordan cologne back
Oh,
then,
yes.
right? That was the bomb, you know what I'm saying? And women responded well to it.
Yeah.
And I remember, I think I had Calvin Klein too as well. Okay, let's see. Be attentive, stay off your phone. Well, back in the 90s, that wasn't an issue because this wasn't popular, right?
Right.
So you were very intentional, because I remember I used to like taking my first dates. I really wanted to impress them. It was this restaurant downtown called Houston's.
Yes, of course.
That was my go-to. Or I would take them to Leona's,
Yes.
you know. So absolutely, eyeball to eyeball throughout the evening. And lead the date. So for me, because I always knew I had my go-to restaurants, Houston's or Leona's, it wasn't well, sweetheart, where do you want to go? Because I just learned early on, women like men who are intentional, who have a plan in place and working their plan. And it's all, of course, maybe on the third date, you can like, hey, sweetheart, is it something you got a favorite restaurant? Or you'll learn that on the first date. And then maybe that's the next time, that's the place you go that next time. Okay, make sure you smile and keep eye contact. Well, one of the things that I always knew, I had straight white teeth, right?
You're
So I always smile, and when I smile, I get a little dimple too, and I didn't have all this hair. So you just saw my bald headed face. I mean, well, I had hair back then. So you saw this big old Kool-Aid smile. And I really wanted the young lady to know I was into this and into her, you know? Let's see. Make her laugh because a sense of humor is everything. I think that goes to today. You make a woman laugh, you make a man laugh. That shows you just cool, and that you don't take yourself so serious,
right.
right? Okay. Always walk on the outside of the street. Another part of chivalry. When I learned that as a teenager, I never, ever, ever walked inside where a woman walked. I would feel less than a man if I walked on the inside, you know? And I remember learning about that. It was something about back in the day, if a car was driving past and it was a puddle of water, you want the dirty water to hit you instead of her. You know, something to that effect, but
And you
whatever.
still do that today, correct? You still do that right now.
Absolutely. I remember when I was walking, you know, I always walk with my daughter. I'm like, Anaya, if a guy don't make you walk on inside, man, tell him one time. And then if he doesn't get it after that, leave him alone. Because it's about consideration, right? The next one, ask her how she's feeling and if she needs anything. Well, you know, I got my bachelor's and master's when I was in my 20s. And, you know, I'm a clinician and I'm a social worker. So you couldn't beat me on conversation. Can never beat me on conversation because, and to see, I love talking to people to really get to know people. And I am a deep listener. So I don't listen to you to have a response. I listen to you to actually listen to you and pay attention.
That's a gift.
Right?
That's a gift.
Absolutely. 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 Keep the conversation interesting, you know, and this, you don't have to divulge all your secrets, you know, and your highs and lows, but just, again, you want the person to know that you're interested and you want to know what they're about, you know, and if they got good conversation with you, that's a plus. If you're sitting there and she missing one crayon from being a full box of crayons, well, you know, you got to know what your motivation is, right? For me, I like intelligent women. That turns me on. You know what I'm saying? And intelligence without being arrogant.
There you go. That's
Right.
the balance. Because
Right.
women like intelligent men too, but not
Absolutely.
arrogant men.
Absolutely. Let's see. Stay in the moment. Stay in the moment. Be present. You know, I think I was practicing mindfulness thought pattern before it became real popular. You know, I'm here. I'm not, it's not Sunday worrying about church. It's not Friday thinking about work. I'm right here at Houston's eating this good meal and with you, and you're some good company. And I hope we see each other again, you know? Let's see. Remember, oh, this is really important. Remember that an ex doesn't exist.
Yes.
This is why on every podcast I do, I tell people before you start getting out here in the streets and meet and greeting, do your healing work. Do your healing work. Because the person you want to date, they should not know about who you dated a month ago. It's not important. It's not important unless it's your child's parent. You know what I'm saying? You know, whoever you dated, that's past. You know what I'm saying? And that's it. I'm this is a blank piece of paper that I got the pen with me. I'm writing on the top line. This is not no recycled paper where I just turned it over, but I got the story of the other ex behind it. No, fresh, right? Okay. Be honest.
Yes.
Be honest. Be honest.
Was that one of the most difficult things for men to do?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Because what happens, Janice, is this, giving them the trade secrets out. Men observe, assess, and come up with a treatment plan on how to be with you.
That's right.
If I hear a smidget that you like thug dudes, and I'm interested in you, and I'm really a good guy, I'm a Carlton, I'm going to become a Fresh Prince. Because you have told me you don't want a Carlton. You want me to play the other guy. So if then that's the case and I'm really interested in you, you're not going to get Khalid, that dude with all that paper back there. You're going to get Keontae. You know, you're going to get, what's up? What's up? You know, what's up? Hey, you know, why don't you come and sit down right quick? So now, if that's what the role I got to play, that's the role I'm going to play. Because again, we're hunters. Men are hunters.
And they're masters at that. They're masters.
Absolutely.
They're masters at watching, and watching. Then they'll modify the way they act to attract. You're absolutely right. So that's why I said
Absolutely.
being truthful has to be kind of difficult.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Don't make the date all about you. Let her speak. Be in tune with her. Let her do the talking because remember, I'm trying to see who she is. And what we learned about you women, you'll tell us everything we need to know. That mouth is going to go.
You think so?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm not saying all women, of course not. You have some women who are laid back. You know, some women who think like a man, right? But for
Absolutely.
the most part, if you make a woman feel secure and safe and heard, she'll tell you everything you want to hear, right? Okay. Know something about the menu to recommend. Well, see, I cover that. If I go to Houston's every first date, if I go to Leona's, I already know, you know, and then I know the ambiance of the place.
Right.
I know how to get there. I know the parking attendant. You know, I know how much it's going to cost to park. You know, I know the parking spaces around the restaurant. I do not want to look like a goofy on this first date because why? I'm trying to make the first good impression.
And that impresses women, when you go to a place that neither one of you've ever been to, and he knows, just like you said, he knows about the parking, he knows about this, he knows that. It's like, man, I wonder how he knew that. You don't even know where it's at. That's probably because he scouted it out before you guys even got there, which is smart.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Number 20, let her know that you had a great time when wrapping up. Absolutely. And it's not by your words, it's your body language. Like, sweet man, I really enjoyed myself. You kind of got in here a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So imagine if a woman is interested in you and you say something like that. Or you tell her, like, man, you've been on my mind all day, and now I see why. I was really looking forward to this date, and I'm not disappointed.
What happens
Right?
if you are disappointed? I'm just
You
curious.
you play it off.
Okay.
You play it off. You play it off. But because you want to trust that people know genuineness, you want to know that people, you always want to be polite because what if it was in reverse? What if
True.
you're really interested in her and she has a lackluster opinion of you? You
True.
still want her to be mindful and respectful, right?
That's
And
true.
that's it. And that's it. That's it. I can't see 21, Janice.
Let me see. Can I open this up and see 21 for you? 21 says, if she lets you drop her off, walk her to the door and text her once you get back to your car to make sure she is safe.
Got you. Now, how I know if a young lady was a good girl back in the day, I remember watching this movie and I forgot the name of it, but it was powerful. The uncle was teaching his nephew about going on a date with somebody, right? And I
Mm-hmm.
think it was Robert De Niro or something. And he said, nephew, this is a test. When you open the car door, let her in and close it, and then walk around the back way of the car.
Yeah.
If she reaches over and unlocks it or opens it for you, she's considerate. If
Yes.
she just sits there, that might be a little bit questionable. But remember, that was back in the 90s. We didn't have these old fancy, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then, you know, I like people who like knowing I made it home safe.
Right.
Or I hear some, because I tell people, even my male friends, hey man, just throw me a text saying home. So I know you made it in safe.
I do too.
It's
That's
always about consideration. So is this a fantastic list or what? Absolutely.
okay. So, two questions. First question, I had a lot of pushback from people who said, I think this list is garbage. I don't do this on every date and yada, yada, yada. So that's why I was saying early on that this is for someone who really likes a person and dating with intention, not someone trying to just whatever they do. Another thing, someone said, well, this is good for then, for back in the day, but is this list still relevant and can it be applied In today's terms, men are so afraid of women using them. Men are told, don't take her to a, well, Houston's not, but don't take her to a place like that. Take her to a Starbucks because women
Correct.
are out for a dinner, for a free meal. And now, has our attitudes changed so much that this list should be modified?
Right. Right. So let me say this. This list went viral
Yes.
quickly. And the reason why it went viral, because it was like, oh my God, how refreshing. It wasn't a young man who was my age.
No.
It was a young guy. And see, you have a different version that I originally sent you. So what they've been saying is multiple men have taken that list,
And put
posted
your
it,
face on it. Yes.
and put
Yes.
their face on it. So they'll look like that chivalrous guy.
Right.
So see, I don't think it's so inundated now, right? I think folks know these are basic skills. This is foundational. Now, can you tweak some of the things? Absolutely. Absolutely. And then you got to know who you are. Janice, I'm not a Starbucks guy. I'm not a Starbucks guy. If I take a woman out, I'm taking her out.
Yes.
I make almost 200 grand a year.
Woo.
I got a Cadillac.
Wait, hold it. Back it up. Back it up. Did you hear that, y'all? He said he made almost 200 a year. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Right. I ain't got to pitch pennies for somebody I want to be around. You know what I'm saying? But that's me. I'm not a 21-year-old starving college person.
That's true.
But even back in the 90s, when I was in my 20s, where did I tell you I took them? Houston's. I went and got my car washed. I got my clothes out the cleaners. I went and got a haircut. What you are invested in, you'll save up. And understand, when a man likes you, he can be broke. He'll call his best friend Tony. Tony, ooh, I'm taking babe out, look like Halle Berry twin sister. What? Bro, you got to help me out. Give me 200. Give me 200. You know Friday is payday. I got you. I will Zelle it to you in the morning. When you want to do something, you make a way.
I agree.
You really want to be with a young lady, you will put the work in. Women have dummied down the art of chivalry and dating because they're like, well, man, if no man is doing this and I want to go on dates, man, let me dummy down my expectations. But what happens is this: when you lower your standard, men meet you there.
That's right. That.
I had a buddy, and you all heard this story if you know me. I got a buddy, the player of Chicago. If you know, I'm always saying he on dated at least two of your friends, right? He that dude, right? He told me years ago when this phenomenon about Starbucks dating, he said, yo, Lid, let me tell you, man, I have sex for $9.95.
Oh, I know what he's
I'm
saying.
like, you have sex for what? $9.95. Brother, explain that to me. Khalid, I take him to Starbucks. I get me a hot tea, get her a coffee, and maybe a muffin.
Oh, dear.
Because I'm smooth? Because I'm sexy like that? Because I'm 6'3", bald head, smooth operator? I guarantee you, I ain't got to take them to Gibson's.
Jeez.
I'm going to bed with them right after we leave Starbucks. And all it cost me was what, Janice?
$9.95.
Now, I remember saying that at a relationship chat, right? Mm-hmm. And women said, well, I might want sex for $9.95. Wow. But you're sitting here at a relationship chat because you're by yourself, aren't you?
That's right. And they want more. That's why they're there.
And you want more. So if a guy don't want to take you out to a restaurant, he can take you to Chili's, Buffalo Wild Wings. What's the Italian restaurant? Olive Garden. Be having
Olive
two
Garden.
for special.
I like olive. I love the salad.
So it's no excuse. It's no, or you could be creative. Hey, Mom, would you mind frying your famous fried chicken? Go to KFC, buy a side of mashed potatoes and macaroni. Get a little picnic basket.
Oh, it's
And
cute.
then go down to Millennial Park.
Mm-hmm.
That's what? $20 maybe. But ladies, if you act like you only worth $9.95, he's going to treat you like you're at $9.95. So I said, man, bro, that really works. He said, Khalid, the last 9 dates have cost me $9.95. And yes, I've slept with all of them.
Oof.
So, like, again, if women, you grown and you like, okay, at least I'm getting some action, that's fine. But that's all you're going to get. That's all you're going to get. And I'm not, and so men might take it as, well, what, these women supposed to be gold diggers? Again, if he's really invested in you, if he wants you to go to his boy's summer linen white party, right? And you look like Halle Berry or Janet Jackson or Lupita Nyong'o or whatever, and he know you're going to look good in that sundress and those sandals, he'll take you to Gibson's because it's an investment for him. Don't be fooled. And ladies, I'm telling you how men are. I'm telling you. Hold on. Don't spend thoroughbred money on a switch
What?
mule.
No, I'm sorry. Oh.
Okay. Got you. So we all got to be educated on the dating scene, right? We all have to be, right? Janice, though I think I look like Morris Chestnut, I know I don't. I know I'm not the most handsomest guy in the room, but I'm going to tell you, I have a collage of all the women I've dated since I was 19 years old. Not one unattractive one.
Does that mean a lot to you? Does that mean everything to you being beautiful? Because you like really pretty women, not average, not even cute. But does that mean everything to you? Just curious.
Well,
does
you got
that
to know
mean a
you,
lot to
right?
men?
You got to know you, right? So what happens is this. When I was younger, I was real overweight, dark skin, a little head acne. And so I felt unattractive. But then in the end of my junior year, I lost 40, 50 pounds. And I saw how the world treated me differently. When I was 165, 170 pounds, and my waistline was 30 inches. And all through my 20s, I even became an instructor, a fitness trainer at Bally's, because I saw how women, y'all not known for being aesthetic focused. You all want the heart of the man. Bull crap. Y'all want a sexy dude. So, Janice, you getting ready to go to the AKA dinner party at the Hyatt, and I'll look good in that black suit. Yo, Khalid, come on over here. Pick me up in the caddy and let's go on downtown, to the Regency. Because I want to show you off to my AKA sisters. We all play that game. But of course, remember I told you, I said it earlier, I like smart women.
Mm-hmm.
And I just find that people who are smart and people who are attractive put the work in. That's my foundation. You're going to put more into it. Like I put more, I want you to put more.
Okay.
Absolutely. And my thing is everybody's attractive. Everybody's attractive. It's just knowing what your attraction is, right? And going for it. Yep. Absolutely. So, Janice, one of the topic of our show is dating, past, present, and future. Now, I'm a marriage therapist, right?
Yes.
And I talk about all the time, I got 11 friends going through divorces, right? Okay. So 5 of my friends in those going through those divorces have finalized their divorce now. So I got 6 friends who are divorces are pending, right? So what happens, my friends are kind of slowly having a conversation about, man, I got to be back out here in the streets.
Yes.
What is it going to look like? So one of my guys, I hung out with him yesterday. And, he was like, yo, Khalid, I'm in my 50s. I know I'm going to be dating women in their 40s and 50s. My only criteria is I don't want no one who with children under 18. You know what I'm saying? Been there, done that, and wrote the memo afterwards. So the young lady I have today, she has to have adult kids. So then he showed me some pictures of different women who've been kind of like coming at him, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he said, man, I have to X her out, even though she fine as for hair. Man, you know, she got a 15-year-old. I'm not dealing with that no more. She has to have an adult kid, right? So, but what I liked about what he said is I have a new standard, and I'm going to stick with the standard that works for me.
Right.
You might be okay dating somebody with a 2-year-old. That's fine. Not me. I've raised my kids, right? My kids are grown. I want to be able to enjoy the woman's company, me and her. You know what I'm saying? Things come up, of course, but man, I'm too old to be here. And I need a babysitter. I need a babysitter. You know, and that's legit.
Yeah.
That's legit. You know. So, you know, I got a buddy, he divorced his wife, and he was like, man, my wife looked like my auntie.
What?
I lost my attraction.
Oh.
Right? So his thing is, Khalid, I have to be attracted. Yes, she can have a good heart, and I hope she has a good heart. But Khalid, I want somebody to get my motion going. That's him. You got to be true to yourself.
Right.
And again, you have to set a standard. And when you set your standard, you can negotiate the terms, but you better stick. You got to be consistent with what you say out here, or you'll eventually be unhappy. You know? So you got to have an ebb and flow. You got to kind of keep your head on the swivel, you know? But if you like something, you like something.
You know what, though? You know, but just like you said, your friend who got divorced recently, he had this standard. He didn't want to date anyone that had kids under 18. I respect that because he knows what he wants.
Correct.
But why do people jump on women when they say, my standard is I don't want to date a man that doesn't make a certain amount of money or something like that?
Okay. Because what happens is we expect women to be negotiable. We don't have to be negotiable. But that's what the society tells us. We can want what we want, and we don't have to negotiate it. Because if you don't give it to me, Janice,
somebody else
I'll get your sister to give it to me. And your sister will if she wants me. Right?
But women don't have that same flexibility because we have to be negotiable. It's
right.
Based on society.
Correct. But of course, there's exceptions to every rule. And what also women have taught us men, we know how to finagle you to lower your standard. So again, the only reason why we do Starbucks dates is because you all allow us to do Starbucks dates, right? If I try to do Starbucks date and 5 women say, no, Khalid, we can do Applebee's, but I ain't doing no Starbucks. Then what men do is what we will fill in the blanks. We will, what's that term? When I do what the popular thing is. I'll assimilate.
Okay.
So if Applebee's is the great place for a first date, we're going to be going to Applebee's. Applebee's is going to be packed. That girl, that young lady did that video with that Hispanic or Pakistani man saying she didn't want to go into what? Cheesecake Factory.
Hold it right there because I want to show something else. Gotcha. I'm glad you mentioned that because I said, man, is there something, some of these places I thought were pretty nice.
Gotcha.
Okay, so this is going to be a list of places where this young woman didn't want to go to. Here we go. Okay, I don't know if you could see it, but
I sure can.
Okay, good. You could read the list then.
Okay, Cheesecake Factory. The only reason why that's number 1 is because that video went viral. I ain't never heard a woman say, I don't want to go to Cheesecake Factory.
I haven't either.
Ever. But remember, we've learned to be more followers than leaders, especially on social media. Whatever's popular, whatever's trending, that's what we run to. Again, if somebody said the best place to go on a date, let me see on that list, is the gym. memberships at gym is going to increase.
Go up. Yes. Yes.
How I know? Go back to Bally's back in the 90s.
Oh, yeah.
5 o'clock, that was the social hour. You'd be like, I can get on any machine I want to. Why? Because people had matching Nike outfits on, hair was done, haircut was done,
makeup was on.
Right. We us brothers, we oiled our arms out. You know what I'm saying? With our little tank top. We did about 100 push-ups in the locker room so our chest could stand out. And that was social hour from 5 o'clock to 7:30, 8 o'clock, right? If somebody did if this went viral, what I'm saying right now, and they said this guy in a purple with a bunch of degrees behind him said the best place to go on a date is the gym, I promise you within a month, LA Fitness, Planet Fitness, and everything else would be packed.
That's true. We are followers for the most part.
Very much so. And look at this. It's ridiculous.
That's what I thought. It was ridiculous.
Of course you want to go to the movies.
Olive Garden. That's my son.
Come on. Absolutely. Your house. Come on. What man don't want a home cooked meal after 2 or 3 dates? So it's ridiculous. But you know what these lists do? They start conversations.
Yeah, that's what they do.
Good or bad, they start conversations. How you know? Have you been watching Shannon Sharp's series?
No, I haven't watched. I just watched the first one.
Okay, the one with Cat Williams.
Yeah, that's the one that went super viral.
It went viral, right? Yeah, so he just had Amanda Seals on a few days ago. Now, they were just saying that she's the most hated Black woman in America because she's always complaining. She's so negative. He did a 3-hour interview with her. Now, when people sat there and listened to her, I'm seeing people change their mind about it. They was like, wow. Because she divulged that she has autism.
Yeah, I did.
Because she gave evidence of incidents that happened that made it seem like it was her fault, but it was really other people's fault. Now people are like, oh, wow.
Right.
She fine. See? The power of influence.
Yeah.
Is worth $1 million. So that's what we need to be mindful of. And also we got to be comfortable in our being leaders. If I remember back in the 2000-ish, just before I met my ex-wife and got married, I still had hair. I was at the barbershop and I was like, man, I got to go to this floral place in Hyde Park and pick up a dozen yellow roses for a first date. I was at a barbershop that's a barbershop / beauty parlor. Mm-hmm. When they heard me say I'm picking up flowers, this Joe is a goofy. And even women on the beauty side was like, no, dude, don't get her no flowers. I said, well, and I'm 31 years old at the time, right? And I said, why not? Don't women like flowers? They was like, yeah, but it makes us think you're a stalker. And the guys, no, dude, you'll come off as a goofy. So back then, that's when this trend started to get away from being romantic, to get away from being chivalrous, from, no, you don't have to pick me up. I'm not going to give you my address. I'll just meet you at the spot. And I get it. We want to be safe. You know what I'm saying? We want to be safe. I got it. Times are changing. You got to change with it. But I saw the shift. Now in my 50s, I see women like the flowers because it's the exception to the rule. Right? So that's the thing. The more things change,
the more they
stay the same.
That's true. I got someone that said something interesting, and I want you to comment on it. I've heard it before many times. Men are visual, but if a man is into you, it's not what you look like, it's what he sees.
Yes. You become he starts becoming attractive with what your number one attraction is. So say a woman is a slight bit overweight, right?
Like the guy who divorced his wife because she looked like the aunt.
Right. So, but what happens is she has a cute face, right? And that she's smart and that she's funny.
Ah, I see.
And oh my God, she invited me over and she made some fried chicken, macaroni and cheese, sweet potatoes, some Jiffy mixed cornbread,
Some
and
greens.
some
Come on.
sweet iced tea.
Mm.
Man, I can care less. That's more action, the pounding for the action. This because again, us men start doing the 80-20. And we're like 80%, the 20% she ain't got, I can negotiate that. Or I'll get the other woman who's real cute, but she don't got these other assets.
Mm-hmm.
But this one with the 80%, I'm gonna be over here on the weekend. Again, men know how to negotiate our needs and wants, right? But we still have a standard. Don't ever forget that we have a standard. If we really don't want you and we got some ulterior motive, we can do this. Man, okay, but you know what? I'm kind of feeling a certain way down there. And I know I can get with her regarding that. I'll make a shift real quick. But she won't get the text message the next day.
Oh, wow.
She won't get the text message the next day. So again, we have to learn people. We got to learn our society. And most importantly, we got to know who we are.
True.
We got to know who we are. That's why I say when you're getting back out here in the streets, you better be healed up.
Well, let me ask this. How does a woman know if a man really likes her or if he's just playing games and waiting his time because she's not within the framework of his standards?
Right. So it's like the same thing I said before. Men know how to be quiet and sit back and listen and take mental notes. You all need to do the same thing.
Yeah.
That's it. If I tell you I like a woman to cook, don't try to negotiate that with me. Well, Khalid, if I work 40 hours a week and it's Friday night and you come over, and if I order something from the Olive Garden, doesn't that suffice? Yeah, baby, go and do that. I told you I like a woman who cooks. Don't negotiate my standard. Now, if you say, Khalid, I like to cook too, but babe, can I ask you a question? Say I had to work overtime on Friday and we supposed to get together at 7 and I didn't get off till 6. If I order something and pick it up or have you pick it up because I'm running late and I want to be considerate, is that okay? Babe, absolutely. See the difference?
Yeah.
It's a difference. You all should be doing that the same thing too. I remember the man who my mother dated. She said she required the 3 R's. You know what the 3 R's were?
No, what are they?
Write this down, ladies. Now, this was back in the 70s.
I'm going to write it on here. What is it?
Okay. The 3 R's. You got to pay my rent. You got to be romantic. And you got to help raise my child with me. Now, that was my mother's 3 R's. The homework assignment for you ladies, figure out what your 3 R's are. It don't have to be 3 R's, it could be 3 L's. I want you to make me laugh, make good love, and give me a kid so I can have a legacy. So yours is the 3 L's. But the thing is, my mother had a standard, and Mr. Lee met her standard for 16 years. My mother's rent was paid. He helped raise me until I was 18 years old. And they were romantic. He bought her fur coats. He drove her around in his Cadillac. He bought her tailor-made clothes. See? Have your standard. You can tweak it a bit, but be consistent with your standard. Don't say, I'm a Christian woman and I'm celibate, and then the minute he does this, come here, come here, lay down. If you lay down, guess what you just told him? and showed them.
You ain't celibate. You're gonna do whatever.
That's why men don't show up at church. That's
You
why we
are.
don't show up at church.
Why not? Why don't they show up at church?
Oh, I'm a good Christian woman. Oh, I'm celibate. Come here, baby. Come and give me a kiss. And your underwear is around your ankles. Nah, you're not. You ain't learned nothing in that church. And your preacher is just like me, but he on the pulpit. So we don't take it serious.
Okay.
Again, when a man don't take you serious, he'll show you. He may not tell you, but he'll show you. Okay? What you got next, Janice?
Okay, sisters, people that are on the call. If you got a quick question, we only have a few minutes left. Like
Are
10
you
minutes.
serious?
10 minutes is all we have. 10 minutes.
Damn.
Now we have left. So if you have any questions for Khalid, please ask the questions now, and I'll make sure to post it and I'll respond to it. I think what you said a takeaway that I had, and I've always had these. They don't necessarily begin with the same letter, but I think we all have those things that are our standards. You want someone A, B, maybe even 4 things, A, B, C, and D, and you have those things, and that's what you're centered, who you're looking for around those things. And I think that's a good thing, because if you don't have those things, then you'll accept anything because you don't have any standards.
Correct.
So
Correct. And again, your standards belongs to you.
Right. It's me. If I like a provider, or if I like, whatever I like, that's me. I can't expect you to like it or her to like it, or that's me.
Absolutely. I remember a young lady said to me, she's like, Khalid, I don't like beards. I said, I got you. I ain't cutting this one off. This my money maker right here, baby. You know what I'm saying? And she was like, damn, that's kind of sexy.
Boy, she changed quick, and I'm just.
She sure did, but I opened up the shirt though. You know what I'm saying?
You sure changed quick from "I don't like beers" to that. You either like them or you don't. I mean,
Yeah, you gonna like this one. You gonna like this one, baby. But again, if you don't like beards, you get a clean cut shaven man. Then don't placate to this, because then you're gonna be irritated when I kiss you, and you're gonna feel this hair on your face. So don't do that to yourself.
Someone said, I don't think many women are honest enough to make a list and keep it. Is that because they so much want a man? This is a woman saying this now. I'm just, okay, is that because they want a man so much, or they want to they kind of change and like, okay, he's not this, this, and this, but I'll take him.
Got you.
Interesting.
I'm gonna give a best example. Back in the day back in the 90s, when I was a social worker, I remember I had a lot of clients in impoverished neighborhoods, right? And I was a therapist for DCFS, right? So I had to go and visit birth mothers, who lost their children to DCFS, right? Now these women, maybe they had a high school education. They lived in poor dwellings, right? They didn't have the nice furniture from Nelson Brothers. You know what I'm saying? Right. Back in the day. They're a little bit hood. Might have been a little overweight. But guess what each one of them had? A man.
A man.
A man. A lot of them had multiple men, because they had multiple children by multiple men. And I remember a young lady, she was very heavy set, very dark skinned, and she had 7 kids by 6 men, right? I'm a picture guy, right? Anybody who knows me know I like pictures. So I was like, Miss ... do you have a picture of the guys you dated? She's like, sure do.
Oh, wow.
When I looked at the pictures, I had in my mind how these men looked, right, Janice? Because I was like, well, she's a little fluffy, she, doesn't do her hair. She lives in, a certain area of the city, Every one of those guys look like the guys you and your sisters and your best friends would date.
What? The baby's daddies?
Yes, I remember being in juvenile court, and this heavy set woman, heavy set, she was there because she trying to get her kids back. They brought the dad in. He was in jail. So, and they keep the prisoners, the dads, if their dad's in jail, they keep it in the back of the court building, right? Okay. And they, the guards bring them in with the handcuffs, chains, and they orange jumpsuit. Now, when you looked at her, you was like, okay, she dating some type of dude. This dude walked in, dark skinned, 6'5". And when you built nice, it doesn't matter what you have on. You can tell the person is built. I saw, and I paid attention, when I looked at all the female attorneys, they were like, he looked like a male model. He looked like a male model, right? As compared to her, who looked like that chick from the hood. Now, of course, he a gangbanger, drug dealer, in and out of jail. So I guess he didn't have and I'm not talking about somebody, so please, somebody, don't get offended. If you based him on how he looked, and if you put him in on a suit, right, you would think he was a male model from New York.
Okay. So
the reason why the women were looking like he is with her is because it was like, wow. So that's why I'm telling you, but I bet you better believe she met every one of his needs. What's your question?
Okay, someone said these women are called gas station because anyone can fill up their vehicle. So he's just saying they're just passing. That's terrible. David, let me take this thing off. Okay. And then someone said, I gotta use that one. Okay, if you're with a man and you feel more alone when you're with him than when he's gone, hello. Okay, but you're saying that you bet this woman fulfilled all these fine men needs.
Yes. If nothing else, I'm assuming her sex game was outstanding.
Oh yeah, I'm sure of that.
Because she knew in their head she has a deficit. And what happens when you have a deficit in one area, right?
You make up for it in other areas.
There you go. There you go. So I'm going to do everything the pretty AKAs don't do. I'm going to do everything the pretty Deltas and the Zetas and the Sigma Gamma Rhos don't do.
I'm glad you said all the organizations, not just.
Oh, okay. That Valerie Warner thing taught me a big lesson.
Okay.
I'm going to do all the things that the prissy girls won't do. I'm going to be a porno star in bed, and I'm going to be Chef Betty Wright in the kitchen. I'm going to make sure all his needs got met because I know I'm not the pretty girl walking down the street. And see, women, y'all teach each other. Y'all teach each other. It's just like all the people talking about Megan Good for dating Jonathan Majors. Y'all was mad at him for being with Becky. Now he's with a black woman. You're still mad.
Why are we mad now?
It's like you can't be happy.
Why are we mad now?
And it was legitimate being mad. Like, I think he's using her. He knows black women tend to be dedicated fans.
Loyal,
so he gets with a black woman. You know what my thing is as a man watching that? I'm glad it's some black on black love. And if he has to grow into the love, good. And if he says, man, this woman stood by me in my darkest hour. Because see, the rumor is, or the thought process is, white women stand by you no matter what.
White women do?
Yes. Yes. So did you watch the NFL draft the other day?
Yeah, I saw that.
White women next to those guys.
That's because when they were in college, they were looking for who has the potential and they connected to them. That's what they did.
Those white girls helped them study. They gave them sex at,
Yes.
at any time they wanted to. They took him to Denny's where he didn't have to eat in the chow hall. And then he thought about, man, I know all these Shamikas with orange hair and blue hair. I want babies that look like Mariah Carey and Drake.
So they wanted a white woman anyway to procreate mixed babies, and I'm gonna leave that there. Okay.
But what is it? I'm getting my what met?
Your needs met.
I need met.
Your need to have a mixed baby because the only way that you feel that they can be beautiful is to be mixed with some other race. So
right, because remember, I'm a dark-skinned, heavy-set guy. The only thing I had going for me is I knew how to run with that football. But I got called ugly and fat and goofy by the sisters. But Becky and Elizabeth and Peggy, oh, Marshawn, oh my God, you so thick.
Oh, okay.
I tell anybody this, and people get mad all the time. I wish Kim Kardashian was a professor at a college, and I would tell every Black woman, enroll in her class. Now, Black women get very offended by that. The reason why I'm saying that is she understands that I got to meet him where his deficit is and then watch him blow up. Kanye was not a billionaire when she got with him. A few years later, at that time, he was a Black billionaire. So she got her needs met because she did the long game, not the short game. Those girls who were sitting next to those 20-year-old guys in the NFL draft, they think about the longevity.
You don't think about the
longevity? He's not going to hear, I'm a struggling college student like you. I can't make you no hamburger and French fries. I'm telling my daughter, who's getting ready to graduate from college next month, Anaya, a man won't care about none of that lambskin on the wall if he don't have chicken and macaroni on his plate. Daughter, don't listen to daddy and you will be alone. And I'm a Black dad telling a smart, beautiful daughter that because I want my daughter to know the bigger picture. This don't mean nothing. None of these mean nothing if you're alone because you couldn't, see the bigger picture. Just like I talk about the CEO with the janitor, right?
Yeah.
CEO lonely. She go down to that basement and see that janitor plunging out the toilet. She has sex with him, but then she wants to build him up. And he like, no, babe, I'm okay being a janitor.
Happy being a janitor, right.
You got to be okay with me being a janitor.
Right.
I don't want to be the CFO. I know that's going to look good, but I don't want to. I'm okay being a janitor. Well, can't you want to own your own janitorial business? No. You didn't mind when you was getting janitor penis.
Ah! But no, well, if that's how he is and that's what he's happy with, whatever.
Don't make us your project or we'll resent you.
Yeah.
Take us as we are.
That's true.
If we want to become something different, you won't have to tell us a thing. And those are some of it may not seem like we was giving good dating tips, but what I want you to know is just what's out here in the world. And you got to know how to acclimate, but still have a standard. Still have a standard.
I agree with that wholeheartedly.
And that's it.
Oh, that's it. Wholeheartedly. And it's 7:01. I can't believe it's 7:01. It's 7:01. And Khalid, we so much appreciate you being on Intellectual Radio Voices of Change and hope to see you back at the end of next month. That's the holiday weekend.
Oh, that's Anaya's graduation date.
Oh, then we gotta flip that because it's also the weekend Cynthia is getting married. Oops, I guess I shouldn't tell your business all over, should I? My sister's getting married, so we're all happy.
Congratulations, sis. Absolutely.
We're happy about that. But we'll see you sometime in the next 5 or 6 weeks. So I want everyone listening, thank you for your comments. I appreciate it. And come back next week. I'm going to have a show next week. It won't be Khalid, but I shouldn't say that. But it'll be a show next week. You guys have a blessed week. Khalid, it's always a pleasure.
Thank you.
Have a blessed week, everyone. Signing off.